The board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Middlebrook, Alderman Bosley, Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderman Kotar, Alderwoman Rice, Alderman Gunther, Alderman Vollmer, Alderwoman Martin, Alderman Ornowitz, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Green, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Todd, Alderwoman Davis, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman Muhammad, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Vaccaro, Alderman Narayan, Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Boyd, Alderwoman Navarro, President Reed,
Here.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Middlebrook, Alderman Bosley, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderman Kotar, Alderwoman Martin, Alderman Ornowitz, Alderman Rhodey, Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Muhammad, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Cone, and Alderwoman Boyd. 19 present.
Quorum being present, we will be led in prayer today by our resident pastor, Reverend John Watson from Maple Temple. We want to have a moment of silence for the Alderman Boyd father, Mr. S.E. Griffin, sir. Also for that great warrior and founder of CORE, a great civil rights leader and educator, Norman R. Say. Gracious God, Heavenly Father, in experiencing your mercy and kindness, we acknowledge no thought of ours is left unnoticed, no desire or concern ignored. You've proven that blessings abound when we fall on our knees in prayer. So on today, as we begin this session, we are thankful for the progress our great city is experiencing, yet some parts are surrounded by violence and cries for justice. We hear your voice in the Holy Scriptures telling us what is required, only to do justice and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Fill us with your mercy so that in turn we may be merciful to others. Strengthen the hearts of our elected officials so their hearts beat only to the rhythm of your holy will. Flood our path with light as we walk humbly toward a future filled with encounter and unity. For only by the prompting of your grace can we progress toward the future together. We ask in Jesus' name, amen. You know, if you haven't already, at some point in time today, please take a moment and send some prayers out to Alderman Boyd and his family. And if you haven't had an opportunity, please send him your condolences. You know, having lost a father, I know how difficult that is. And Norman Say was a true warrior in the city of St. Louis. He was a champion of nonviolent protest and an educator.
and he will truly be missed. We dispense with line item 3, introduction of honored guests. Any introduction of honored guests? Alderwoman from the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to welcome this morning my son, Lucas Navarro, a student, a sophomore at St. Louis University High School, who is here on his day off, and also the 28th Ward Committeeman, Art Perry. Thank you.
Your Alderman from the 4th. Alderman from the 4th or the Alderman from the 14th.
I'd like to welcome the alderman from the 4th. I would also like to recognize Demetrius Alfred from Firefighters Local 73 that has their offices in the beautiful 14th Ward.
All right, thank you. We also have one of the newest interns, Jill Kaiser. Jill is from the Brown School of Washington University. So thank you, Jill. We're looking forward to working with you. Any further introductions? Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. My special guest today is Tracy Billups.
All right. Any further introductions? Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And her dad's getting married tomorrow.
Oh, congrats. Any further introductions? Alderman from the 10th, like to wrap us up?
Hello, thank you. And thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. We're here on September 20th. This is Sophia Loren's birthday, which is a good thing. Also, it's National Doodle Day, but more importantly, it's the day that Dave Sweeney up in Chambers is bringing back the color of salmon in menswear and pants. Thank you, David. Thank you.
All right. Alderman from the approval of the minutes.
Approval of the minutes, September 13th, 2019.
Alderman from the 10th, figured I'd give you a minute to
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
recognize for approval.
Had to
of the
catch my
minutes.
breath. I'm not as young as I used to be. I move for approval of minutes from September 13th, 2019.
Moved by Alderman from 10th, entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by Alderman from 23rd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in A, B, and C of the agenda and has been placed in the aldermen's mailboxes.
We dispense with line item 7. Would anyone like to take any bills or resolutions from any of our informal calendars? Would anyone like to take any bills or resolutions from any of our informal calendars? We dispense with line items 8 through 10, first reading of board bills.
Board Bill 108, sponsored by Alderwoman Middlebrook, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to vacate public service rights for vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel in Fordey Street from Antelope Street to Thatcher Avenue and the easternmost 150 feet of the 20-foot wide east-west alley in City Block 4233 as bounded by Antelope, Fordey, Thatcher, East Railroad in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, as hereinafter described in accordance with Charter authority and conformity with Section 14 of Article 21 of the Charter and imposing certain conditions on such vacation. Board Bill 109, sponsored by Alderwoman Martin, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to conditionally vacate above surface, surface, and subsurface rights for vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel in Buren St from Primm St to Tesson St in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, as hereinafter described in accordance with Charter authority in conformity with Section 14 of Article 21 of the Charter and imposing certain conditions on such vacation. Board Bill 110, sponsored by Alderwoman Middlebrook, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to conditionally vacate above surface, subsurface, and rights for vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel in the easternmost east-west alley in City Block 4233 as bounded by Fordey, Thatcher, East Railroad, Antelope, in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, as herein described in accordance with Charter authority and conformity with Section 14 of Article 21 of the Charter and imposing certain conditions on such vacation. Board Bill 111, sponsored by Alderman Rhodey, an ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 4545 through 4559 Laclede Avenue area. Board Bill 112, sponsored by Alderman Vollmer, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, making a supplement appropriation to the annual budget ordinance 70963 for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019, and ending June 30th, 2020, amounting to the sum of $9,360,460 and containing an emergency clause. That is the extent of first reading of board bills.
Reference to committee.
To the Streets Committee, Board Bill 108, 109, and 110. To the HUD's Committee, Board Bill 111. To the Ways and Means Committee, Board Bill 112. That is the extent of reference to committee.
We will dispense with line items 13 through 16, third reading consent.
Board Bill 75.
Alderman from the 10th, you recognize on the motion for the third reading consent calendar.
I move that we approve the third reading of the consent calendar.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th, entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by the Alderman from the 13th. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Middlebrook. Alderman Bosley. Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Ingracia. Alderman Kotar. Alderwoman Rice. Alderman Gunther. Alderman Vollmer. Alderwoman Martin. Alderman Ornowitz. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Green. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Todd. Alderwoman Davis. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Boyd. Alderman Vaccaro. Alderman Narayan. Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman Navarro. President Reed.
Aye.
Alderman Bosley. Alderman Kotar. Alderman Ornowitz. Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Boyd. Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Boyd. 23 aye votes.
By a vote, staying the motion, Alderman from the 10th and third read and finally passed the aforementioned bill. Third
That is the extent of third reading consent calendar.
third reading report of engrossment.
We have none.
Report of enrollment.
Board Bill 75.
All other business being suspended, the President shall in open session affix his signature hereto to the end that these may become law. Okay. Oh, thank you. Alderman from the 19th, you recognize on the motion for the courtesy resolutions calendar.
Members of the board, I'd like to ask for adoption of our courtesy resolution calendar.
Moved by the Alderman from the 19th, seconded by the Alderman from the 13th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First reading of resolutions.
Resolution 116, sponsored by Alderman Vaccaro and Alderman Muhammad. The Board of Aldermen calls upon Governor Parson and the Missouri General Assembly to require firearms purchasers to demonstrate some basic knowledge of firearms safety before purchasing a firearm.
Alderman from the 23rd, you recognize on first reading Resolution 116.
I would like to send the resolution to the Public Safety Committee.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 23rd that we send Resolution 116 to Public Safety. I entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by the Alderman from the 24th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please assign Resolution 116 to Public Safety.
So noted. Resolution 118, sponsored by Alderwoman Green, Alderwoman Navarro, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderman Todd, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman Gunther, and Alderwoman Rice. The Board of Aldermen supports the youth-led September 20th, 2019 Global Climate Strike.
Alderman from the 15th, you recognize on first reading Resolution 118.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to move for unanimous consent of resolution number 118.
No, it's not a motion, it's just a request.
A request, unanimous consent.
Yes.
Yes.
Hearing no objection, please proceed.
Resolution 118 is just in support of the youth-led climate march. As you might have seen, we have a lot of youth outside of City Hall today. This is a global march that is happening, a global strike that is happening in support of bringing recognition to our climate crisis. If you turn on the news this morning, we see that there are millions of young people taking to the streets all across this globe today. This is just to show solidarity for their actions. So would like to renew my motion.
All right. Any further discussion? Alderman from the 12th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. If I'm not out of line or anything, I would like to ask if there's no objections that this be in bank, please.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 12th, seconded by the Alderman from the 19th that we make this resolution in bank. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please make note of that resolution 118 in bank.
So
Alderman
noted.
from the 15th.
Guess there's no further questions, then I renew my motion.
You haven't made the motion yet.
Make the motion again,
Well, no, you.
now that it's in bank. Sorry.
No, you.
Move to adopt, sorry.
Yeah.
Move to adopt resolution 118.
All right, it's been moved by the Alderman from the 15th, entertain a second by the Alderman from the 9th, that we pass resolution 118 via unanimous consent. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That is the extent of first reading of resolutions.
We dispense with line item 22, miscellaneous unfinished business.
We have none.
Announcements.
Tuesday, September 24th, Transportation and Commerce will have a meeting at 10 a.m. in the Leisure Room. Public Safety will have a meeting 10 a.m. in the Kennedy Room. Streets will have a meeting at 1 p.m. in the Leisure Room. Wednesday, September 25th, HUDs will have a meeting at 9 a.m. in the Kennedy Room. And Friday, September 27th, full board meeting, 10 a.m. in the chambers.
Any further announcements? Alderman from the 28th.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I invite everyone out to Forest Park this weekend for the Great Forest Park Balloon Race on Saturday. There will be a glow on Friday evening on Central Fields. Also this Saturday, Book Fest is happening in the Central West End. So book lovers of all ages are invited to come out on Euclid, and you can meet some authors, enjoy some great book readings, and check out some wonderful books, especially as Left Bank is preparing to celebrate their 50th anniversary. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I wanted to remind everyone that this board, as we had announced that you wanted to do, and we put in place a job fair next Tuesday and Wednesday for the jobs at the City of St. Louis. But once we announced it, others wanted to join in. So, of course, Slate and Save Our Sons will be there to help those who may not just be ready for a job, but need some other assistance as well. And we have other companies who are in dire need of employees. We have so many jobs available, and people just don't know it. And so we have got to do all that we can. And we see now that other people are stepping up to the plate too. So hopefully you can get the information out in your ward, put it through your various social media networks. I know that we have people who want jobs and need jobs, and we have the jobs for them. So yesterday I had the honor of listening to 2 young men who have been employed through Save Our Sons. One of them is at GM, although they're on strike, but he's at GM with a good job. And the other one is just amazing because he started off with a fast food job, but he stuck it out and he kept progressing, you know, and now he's a supervisor in building maintenance for the community colleges. So you just never know, and we just got to really put it out there. And hopefully we can definitely continue to assist in this effort. And I don't know what our problem is, but one of the things I did look into, we've had more police academies running in the last 2 years than we've ever had before. We normally don't run 2 at a time, but we've been running 2 at a time. So recruitment is not the problem. I had to go check that out. It's retention that's the problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't know who is standing first, all the one from the 1st to the 14th? Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Was it all the one from the 14th? All the one from the 14th?
Sometimes quick is
I
not
don't know.
great, because it's not good.
Okay.
Yeah, all the one from the 14th?
I just would like to encourage all of my colleagues here to spread the word about the job fairs that are being held so that we can fill the positions that are open in this city with residents that live here. If you know of anyone in your ward, personally reach out to them so that we can get our services delivered to people in a timely fashion. I know most of us are suffering from trees that need to be trimmed, grass that needs to be cut, and we desperately need workers for the city. So if you know of anybody in your ward, please reach out to them and encourage them to come to the job fair. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman from the 10th, I'll turn the floor over to you in 1 second. Yeah, you're good. Alderwoman from the 1st.
Mr. President, members of the board, I am glad that we're having a job fair. I don't believe that the city is doing what it's supposed to do to hire people. The forestry is a very good example of trying to plan to fail on purpose because we have another political agenda. I sent a lot of people to apply for those forestry jobs. Since we had more forestry jobs, they didn't hire any full-time people. Then they hired part-time people. And now the people, I had them apply for the full-time jobs, which they gave the part-time people very good reports about what they were doing, but you're not hiring full-time. That's an agenda to say, see, we need all these people from outside. So there's politics going on in what we're doing right now when we need to be hiring full-time forestry workers. If you're not getting your trees cut, if you're not getting your grass cut, we came up with $36 million more. The grass is, every place is out of control, and the city is breaking the law because our law, which we send to people that say that you cannot have grass over 6 inches tall, is all over, especially North St. Louis, where we have standards. It is tall. That is because the person who puts the money in the budget in the mayor's office, Todd Walterman, needs to be fired because he is purposefully breaking the law and the mayor is going along with it. So if you want to do something, hire full-time workers like you're supposed to in forestry. And then the other thing is, keep them cutting and cleaning those backyards, which they have not cut for 3 and 4 and 5 years, until they get it done. Don't come and find $36 million and you haven't cut grass and you're still not following our own laws. Why are we a body of law when we don't even require the mayor or ourselves to follow the law? So when we have these job fairs talking about we can't find people, yes, you can. You're just on purposefully not hiring them. How can you let them work part-time all summer and then you can't hire none of them because you don't intend for them to be full-time?
All right, thank you all. All the one from the 13th.
Yes, President, members of the board, I, Alderwoman Howard, and myself would like to invite everybody to Cronolette Park on Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock for the Bosnian Festival. They're celebrating their 15th year festival. They've been here longer than that. I said, I know we're all sorry for the circumstances which many of our immigrants arrive here, but we're so glad that they landed down in South St. Louis. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman from the 8th. 18th, I'm sorry.
I would like to reiterate what Alderwoman from the 1st Ward said. First of all, in the 18th Ward, we have garages full of debris falling down. I've been calling all summer. They haven't done any.
Please state your point of order.
I don't want to sound unempathetic to your concerns, but this is the announcement portion of the meeting, and
yeah.
I think it's great to raise these concerns, but it needs to be raised at the...
Yeah, if you Alderman from the 18th, if you have an announcement, you can make an announcement that the Alderman from the 17th is correct. This is the announcement section, but if you have an announcement, you can make... Okay, all right, thank you. Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 8th.
Mr. President, I'd like to invite everyone down to South Grand Fall Festival this Saturday, and we'll be going on from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. There are a number of vendors, food and merchandise that you can buy, crafts and things, and also there'll be performances in Ritz Park, and Tonina will be there, and that's one of our city's really great artists that is performing right now. She plays bass, and she's fantastic, and you don't often get a free show of that quality, so come on down to Ritz Park on Saturday. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Any further announcements? Alderman from the 10th, thanks for your patience. As the floor leader today, you get to come last.
Thank you,
with
sir.
Your announcement.
This Sunday, when you guys are done with all your hot air balloons on Saturday, come on down to the Hill. We have the ravioli dinner at St. Ambrose Cafeteria from noon till 6. And then we have at Barra Park the Great Pizza Square-Off. It's a pizza contest. The park will be filled with pizza cooking and eating from 11 to around 5:30 or 6. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And Alderman from the 10th, if you hold for a second. Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. I'm not going to make an announcement that my ward still looks the same with the high grass and weeds, and we need to be cut as soon as possible. We got 1,700 or more lots, 1,300 empty buildings, and this is an announcement that the city ain't doing jack for my ward. That's my announcement. God bless you. And Jesse, keep up the good work and keep speaking out. Sharon, keep speaking out because it's not happening. And I want to, my committee woman over there, Dwayne Evans.
All right, welcome.
But that is my announcement, that my ward is still being jacked up and being left out, and I want to do something about it. That's the announcement. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to excuse.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to excuse the Alderman from the 7th, 21st, 22nd, 25th, and 27th Ward
For necessary absence. Entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by the Alderman from the 19th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Alderman from the 10th, you recognize on the motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn until next Friday, September 27th, 2019.
Moved by the Alderman from the 10th. Entertain a second. Seconded by the Alderman from the 13th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Stand adjourned.